So I'm a digital recruiter and Madeline's a traditional recruiter. So I recruit for like web design, web graphics, web banners, social media, email templates, and
anything digital. I'm more traditional print for graphic design, and then also like marketing, copywriters, PR people, kind of anything like that.
Yeah, so we cover the whole creative industry. It's not just design. So any kind of writing, any kind of marketing, even front-end development. I have a whole list of skill sets over here. There's a lot of kind of marketing, a lot of kind of design, like UX, interactive web. So yeah, there's a huge, amount of skill sets there. So
yeah. And then everything on our end of things is like contract and contract to hire and freelance. Are you guys like familiar with contract work and doing freelance and stuff like that?
No.
Not really? A little bit? Okay. So basically we help our clients find, the creative talent that they need. So sometimes they can be short-term contracts. Sometimes it can be longer term, and that basically means you'd be put on an assignment with them through us. So it could just be, a few hours a week. It could be like a full-time thing. It really varies and depends. But you can kind of be put on assignments through us with, a client.
yeah, so I had this PowerPoint, but so pretty much the way I explained to candidates, like permanent positions versus contract positions. Permanent is, you're on a salary, you have benefits. The interview process is probably longer because they want to make sure, you're there for the long haul, so they want to make sure it's a perfect fit, not just skill set wise, but culture fit. While contract work, you are paid hourly. You wouldn't have benefits from the company you're working for, but we actually, the Creative Group does offer benefits for our employees, which a lot of staffing agencies don't, so that's the bonus. But the duration varies, so since it's not a permanent position, like Madeline said, it could be just an assignment. Maybe someone's on maternity leave, or they're sick, or they just have some extra work coming in and they just need some help. Maybe it's an ongoing duration, they don't know how long it's going to take. So that's something the candidate has to be okay with. And then the process is a lot quicker, so it's usually more of an urgent need. And since it's not permanent, they're not worried about like how much of a fit it is. They just really need someone to crank out the work. And I always go over like the benefits of contract work, because I know when I was in school, I don't know if I like looked down on it, but I was like, oh, temp, like I don't want a temp job, I want that stability. But there really is a lot of benefits to contract work, and I wish I knew. So especially as a recent grad, it's really nothing to be afraid of. It's a really good way to gain experience and build your resume, your portfolio. Break into different industries. So if you have a few assignments, that's different industries on your resume and your background. And we always say it's not permanent, it's contract. We understand that. So it could be just making money while you're looking for that permanent position. While you're searching for that permanent position, just get that experience and make some money. Like, you want to make money, and just get your foot in the door. So. There's definitely been multiple times where we placed candidates and it was supposed to be like a 1-month contract. The client just needed some extra help, but then it's really common the client will fall in love with the candidate and be like, their work's great, we really click, we have more work coming in, we want to take them on full time. I mean, it really happens a lot, so you never know, it can happen. It can end up being a permanent position, a really good fit, or it can be a lot longer than expected. So there's a lot of benefits with that. But does anyone have any questions about contract work or anything like that?
I do.
Okay.
So, who gets the lion's share of contract work? Is it web designers, or is it graphic designers, or who is it?
Like, you mean the majority?
Yeah.
It's all over the place.
Really anything the client needs.
So
there's not one like skill set that's
sorry.
kind of overpowering over. It's not like, oh, we get more graphic designers.
Yeah, and it kind of depends on the time of year too. Especially, I know, when it was like around Christmas time, everything was kind of slowing down. It's not the best time to look for work, but that's when clients needed a lot of production artists. There was a lot of production work, just like doing the final layout and just putting everything together. So it really depends on the time of year too.
All right.
Which clients do, or which industries do you represent mostly?
Mostly around here, pharmaceutical is huge. We have a lot of clients that are pharma agencies. Agencies are huge. Agencies use contractors and freelancers the most, I would say. But we work with a lot of universities, some nonprofits. We're open to anything. It's just any client that needs our services. I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head, but yeah, universities, banks, corporations.
Financial, pharmaceutical. And then what's the region? Like, is it only Philadelphia Metro, or Delaware, Maryland?
So
We're the greater Philadelphia area.
So we
That's
cover
our office.
all of Pennsylvania, some of Delaware, but we have offices everywhere. We're global. So yeah, if anyone, if a candidate reaches out to me and they're like, I'm relocating, I can just send them to someone in a different office. So we're all over.
So if I come to you with if I come to you as an artist and I say to you, here's what I want to do. I want to work inside in a pharmaceutical situation. That's all I want. That's what I want. If you don't have it, do you search for those positions, or do those positions come to you first?
So if you have that background and your work looks amazing, and you do have that pharmaceutical background, and we know we have those clients, we can send all of your information to our sales team, and they'll start anonymously marketing you out. So saying, hey, we have this great graphic designer, this is their pharma background, could you use them right now? Sometimes, even if they can't use them, they can look back, and when they do have something, they'll think back to you, then come to us and see if you're still available.
A lot of times, clients will come to us with the need, but there's, like Madeline said, like our account managers will call our clients and say, hey, we have this awesome designer just finished up at Digitas, or a really well-known company. Sometimes that triggers a need. Maybe the client would be like, oh, they sound really good, like let's interview them, or let me see their work. Sometimes that sparks the conversation and sparks a need, or maybe they look into it and they really do have something coming up. But yeah, it kind of goes both ways.
I know I asked you this earlier, and I'll ask you again in front of these guys. So do you test people? Meaning, if I come in for a job and I say, well, I'm a graphic designer, I think I want to work in a studio or a small agency, and I should be their guy to do like InDesign and Illustrator. Do you test me on that?
Not always, but we do have those tests. A lot of them were for Robert Half Technology, for more of like the techie side.
Mm-hmm.
So we had tests for like more front end development, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I believe there is
an InDesign
There-
test.
I
I've
think
sent it
there's
out
InDesign.
once for a candidate that asked.
Yeah, and that's helpful for candidates that like don't have the experience
and want to refresh.
because it's if they do well on the test, it's kind of just more credible, and we can market them saying, oh, we even personally tested them and they scored this, and maybe they don't have that experience on their resume, but they clearly know what they're doing. So that can be another way to market them. But I always tell candidates, if we test you and you don't do well, it's okay. We're not going to say anything. Like it's just like another way to kind of gain your credibility.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that having an amazing portfolios gets you in the door. What else do people who are looking for contractors, what are they looking for in these candidates?
So I think it could be situational on the need, but samples, like especially with design, I know I probably look at the portfolio more than the resume. We do look at like unemployment gaps. Like someone can have a really good portfolio, but if it's from like 5 years ago and they haven't done anything in 5 years, and what have you been doing? Like, is your skill set up to date? Like, are you up to date with all the programs? So we look at like how recent they've been employed, where they've worked. Like I said, pharma's huge. So if any candidate has pharma on their resume, like any type of pharma client, we can immediately think like, oh, they'd be a really good fit for here, or, you know, you look at certain companies, if they're really well-known companies, you know, stuff like that. But do you mean like after meeting them, or?
Well, just what should these guys have before they walk in your door? Like a resume, cover letter, portfolio?
Definitely resume, portfolio. Do you guys have a lot of like internship experience? Are you guys doing internships and stuff like that? Yes. No.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Coming up. Definitely internship experience. If you guys do like nonprofit work, like helping out, just anything to really build your portfolio.
Yeah, I know it's harder when you don't have much professional experience, and if you want to like fill your resume, you can put like a skill set section and just put all the programs you're familiar with, like Adobe, you know, anything you're familiar with. But of course, don't lie. Like if you've only used something once, I probably wouldn't put on your resume. But yeah, if you're trying to fill the gaps, I would put that on there. But yeah, anything you have.
Yeah.
So I'd like to interject something in the defense of a lot of these students. A lot of them have come from that Art Institute background, and the ability to acquire an internship at that place was, I always thought it was next to impossible. So here, that barrier doesn't exist. That these guys, a lot of these guys had me for portfolio class, and they do understand that you can have an internship that is every Monday. All day, that's it, or Tuesday afternoon and Thursday morning, that's it, where you could not, they could not, and were not allowed, basically, to have an internship that did something like that. So even though the training, they could have it, they had to have a full week's worth of work, sort of, an odd thing. So they set up a barrier.
Anything you're passionate about, like if you have a religious organization, or your parents, or anyone in your family has a business, or even the side job you do, if you can just start, you know, producing stuff that's relevant for them, you'll build your portfolio.
Yeah.
Even just like mock-ups or things that you do in class. I see a lot of like class projects thrown on a portfolio, and it's definitely helpful.
Yeah. I don't know, do you have like capstone classes, or is that what it's called?
Yeah, we do it.
Do we have capstone?
A lot of
Okay.
a lot of recent grads will, you know, if they don't have an internship or they don't have any, you know, professional experience, that could be like a section on their resume, like the capstone, and it kind of can look like a position. You know, like what they did in that class, and their portfolio can have that sample, and then that's usually when we interview them what we would talk about. You know, like exactly, you know, taking you through the process, what you did, how you came about this, so we can kind of treat that like a position.
And portfolios, should they be digital, print? Are there sites that you prefer, like Behance? Do they all need to be on Dribble?
I think definitely digital. I think it's just easier to share, and then I would also put, if you have a digital portfolio, put that link on your resume too. In terms of sites,
Behance, I wouldn't say is the greatest. I'm trying to think.
it's definitely a
the best
start.
one that I've
It's
seen.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
I think having your own website is
that's
the most
definitely
preferred. Yeah,
best.
And I can show PDF.
better than nothing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of candidates, if they have like non-disclosed stuff they can't put on their portfolio, you know, just for us to see, then any kind of sample is great to have. Yeah.
About photography, do you represent photographers, or if it goes into your work, like as a graphic designer?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely do. We don't see it as often, and sometimes the projects that we get are for photography are more like the one day type thing, so we don't see as much photography come in. But if that's, you know, your skill set, put it on your portfolio. You can put it into a different section, because then when we do, you know, get the
one day
the one
project,
job,
we can keep that
we have your information. Yeah.
When it comes to the graphic design jobs you would get, what would the range of type? Like, would it be from like simple commissions for like a logo to like maybe someone publishing like a whole graphic novel? Like, what would be the range of that?
Really, anything you can think of.
It varies between clients and what they're looking for. So sometimes clients will just come in and say, hey, we need help with logo design and like branding and
Yeah, brochures, trade show stuff, yeah, really anything. It really depends what the client needs, and then it's our job to find someone that can do it. Yeah.
So the best thing is to kind of have a range of talent. I can do that, I can do that. And sometimes, talking about trade shows, you've got to follow it all the way to the trade show.
Yeah.
Your temp assignment may have you on the floor handing out brochures and stuff.
Yeah.
Have the client be prepared for that, when you go in.
I would say a range is good, but also like you want to have a focus, especially for contract work. There's a lot of candidates that say like they're the jack of all trades. It's like I can do everything. I can design, I can develop, I can write. Like clients don't want to see that, especially for short-term roles. Like they want someone that's proficient or solid in that one skill set that they're doing. So you want to have a focus. Even if you can do photography as well, or you are good at something else. If you're going for a certain position, you want to have a focus. Like I know candidates that actually can do a bunch of things. They actually are good at everything, but they'll have separate resumes. So if you're going for one position, have one focus on that resume and explain that.
Can you talk a little bit about attitude going into the job?
Yeah.
so I think everyone would probably agree you should have a great attitude no matter what the job is. It always helps put a smile on your face and be energetic and enthusiastic. A lot of our clients say, we want someone hands-on that's going to jump in and, be able to get the work done, and that's going to be getting along with the team. So definitely that, like going into something with a positive attitude is huge.
I would say definitely be motivated. And I feel like a lot of the times we'll interview candidates and they say, they'll be really excited, or they say they can do this, they did that, and then we put them on assignment and it's totally different. Maybe they work a lot slower than they said they can. Pretty much what I'm saying is don't like oversell yourself if you're not going to stick to it. Don't lie, because then when you're in that position, you need to do what you said you can do.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think when we interview candidates, which, by the way, I guess we should have explained, what we do typically is, we search for candidates, especially on the contract side, even if we don't have like an active job open, just because things come so quickly, we actively search for candidates, even if there's, nothing we're specifically sourcing for. So we'll call and say, I'm from the creative group, are you available? Have you heard of us? Jump on a FaceTime or a Skype with me. It's usually like a 20 to 30 minute conversation just to go over everything, go over like pay expectations, where you're located, how far you'll commute, like how soon are you available, all those little factors, so that way when an opportunity does pop up, we can immediately think of them rather than sourcing and wasting time. But when we do that, I would say I look mostly for just like professionalism. I interview candidates a lot where they're like in a t-shirt, their cat's like crawling all over them, they're like still in bed. Definitely like put yourself together.
Yeah, you don't need to be wearing a suit, but for FaceTime, just like a nice
There's so
shirt.
many cats in these interviews, and like I don't really care. I'm like, your cat's cute, but like, do you care at all? But like just be prepared. I would say, just be professional and act like you want the job and be motivated. Yeah.
What would happen if someone got a job through your service and then they wanted to follow it, like they got the opportunity to be officially hired by that company, but then it would require them to like move somewhere else? What would happen then? Would they still be working through the temp service, or would they just officially be working through that company at that point?
So that happens a lot actually. Pretty much they would have to stay on assignment until, or the client could pay us to
convert you as
to
a
convert
full-time
them to a
employee.
full-time employee. Sometimes clients don't want to pay the full fee, so the longer the candidate is working in a contract, the lower the fee gets, if that makes sense. So sometimes they'll wait and they'll still be a contractor like under the creative group until the fee's lower, and then the client will buy them as a full-time employee. It kind of depends how much they want to pay, but candidates get converted a lot, and then they're just no longer under the creative group.
Now that you're on the fee thing, who pays who and how does that work?
So it's completely a free service to our candidates for you guys. Basically, we charge our clients that extra fee. So whatever, we're talking about you with compensation, what you're looking for, and then when we present opportunities to you that, and we're discussing compensation, that's what you would be getting. And you would technically be an employee of Robert Half, so your paychecks would be coming through us. So that's kind of how that works. So.
Right.
So the employer doesn't pay you, you pay the freelancer or the
Right.
independent.
So yeah, you'd be an employee of the creative group, Robert Half. We'd be paying you. You would be getting, on the contract side, you'd be getting paid once a week, be on a W-2, paid hourly. So you log your time when you work. But yeah, the client pays us, who pays the candidate.
So if I get paid by you, the fact that you take some of that money from the original client, okay? Do I deduct that as a job expense because it really is my income?
Well, the client is paying us for our services and for the candidate. And then we take that pay and give that, like the candidate portion, to the candidate.
So you're taking a portion of the pay
From the client.
From the client, right.
Right.
So that's a fee, basically. Mm-hmm. So do I get to deduct that fee because it's really my money originally?
Well, like if we say you're getting paid $25 an hour, you're getting paid $25 an hour.
Okay.
So that's not coming from the candidate. It's like the client would be paying more than $25 an hour to pay for our services.
Okay, yeah, I have to talk to. This is a
Does that
good
make
one. We'll
sense?
ask the accountants when they come on this one.
Is it like a rental fee? Like,
No.
I mean, you see where I'm going with this questioning.
Like I get
I'm not
it.
disagreeing.
I do get what it is. It's just like, how do I put it now? But I get it. Like the employer pays you guys for renting us, but we get our time pay.
Right.
Yeah,
So we're basically doing the work for them. Like they say what they
You're doing
need.
the searching. You're doing
Yeah, we do all of that. We interview them. We check their references. We set up the interviews for
it's like
them.
You guys do the tedious work where
Right.
they may not have the time to sit
Right.
down and find all these people.
Right.
Now, do you guys? Where do you search for prospective people? Like, if we don't come to you, how do you go and find them? Is there like your main go-to site? Like I know, what is it, LinkedIn. Or something?
Yep. Yeah, we will go on LinkedIn. We have, I don't know, are you guys familiar with Salesforce at all? Probably not. We use Salesforce, so it's a huge database. We have, the Robert Half website, Creative Group website, where we post jobs we're working on. A lot of candidates will apply to those, and they'll come in the database.
And Salesforce pulls from Career Builder and like Indeed and Monster. So job boards that you guys might be applying to, we get through our system.
Yeah, LinkedIn's big. Networking events. A lot of candidates we work with are candidates that we've worked with in the past a lot. So it's not always like new people. Especially, I guess we should go over this with contract work. Like after a candidate works in an assignment for us, they become, if they did well, they become a proven resource. So if they're like a true freelancer and they like that lifestyle, it becomes easier to continue placing them. So we work with the same candidates a lot. So that's
kind of just like replacing them out on assignments once they're finished.
Yeah.
You mentioned you can get benefits through the creative group.
Yeah.
So when does that? When do you qualify for that?
So once you work 40 hours, let's say you're only working part-time, or it is full 40-hour contract, once you work that 40 hours, you're eligible for our benefits. So let's
Like
say
the
you work,
creative group benefits.
Yeah.
Why is it not 30
I guess because
rather than 40?
I guess because we can't give them to everybody.
yeah.
Well, no, I mean, the law says that 30 hours I get benefits.
Really?
Yes, that's why all the help and all the Acme's and the grocery stores and all those service centers, they hold everybody at 29 hours.
I'm not sure. Ours is once you work the
That's an
40
interesting
hours. So if you
I
work
think-
like 10 hours one week and then 10
We'll
hours
ask
next
the
week.
accountants when
Once
they
you
come.
do 40.
on this one.
Yeah, I think that's just because we're kind of covering for the client.
It's
too.
very interesting, yeah, because it really is. That's the set rate. That's why everybody, you know, if you
29
go places and
hours.
you see people, they'll tell you they're holding me at 29 hours. They won't. Even the school systems, the office workers in high schools, grade schools, public school, they hold them at 29 hours.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute.
Because if they do 29 and a half, they have to
Not
pay
a
them.
week.
Huh?
You're not saying
If you-
40 hours.
no,
a week.
right, yeah.
You're
So let's say
saying-
you work 10 hours this week and
Yeah.
then 30 hours next. Once you hit that 40-hour mark, that's when you can.
Oh,
receive
really? That's
benefits.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be per week?
right.
Well, that is very interesting.
Did that just change your
So
mind?
it's just
That really did change my mind. That's a really big deal.
Yeah, a
But if
lot
I
of
work-
staffing agencies don't offer
If I
it.
work 15 hours for or if I work 20 hours for 2 weeks, then I'm kicked into your,
Well, you can apply, like you're eligible. You don't have to. A lot
Mhm.
of freelancers are just on their their spouses or they don't need it or something. But yeah, if you want to be on it, it would be our the creative group benefits, health, dental, vision.
if you have paper on that, I'd like to have it.
Yeah,
Because I'd like
We can do it
to
in
make
PDF.
sure I distribute it to the class.
Like
That's a
20
really,
pages.
really big deal.
Wow.
Honestly, a big deal.
And then do you
with
have
these
to-
guys, the health
do you
coverage.
have to remain,
Yeah.
How often? Once you reach the 40 hours, but then
Once your assignment's over, then
Then
Yeah,
I'd be
then it's
done.
done.
yeah.
Okay.
done with it. Okay.
Oh, so
Okay.
it's per assignment then? You just reach 40 hours per
Yeah, that's
assignment
why
that you can get benefits?
a lot of candidates don't do it unless it's like a really long-term thing.
Yeah.
Because then you're constantly kind of cutting off. And,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That's good to
So I have another question. So let's say that of this group, these guys they have 6 pieces in their portfolio. Shares what they do, the primary focus on one particular thing. They have a resume, and can they get in touch with you
Absolutely.
you would log them into your database of here are potential hires?
Yep.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Well, get your sights set.
But suppose you do that and you don't get an assignment, you don't get a job, you graduate from college, and the only job you can get is like CVS or Uber or
Hey,
something
man.
like that. How do you get back into the industry? What happens if you
I-
run into a lull?
I would say just stay up to date with everything, be persistent. If you are working part-time, and it's not relevant, I'd still put that on your resume just to show that you are working. It looks better to be working somewhat, even if it's not in design, it looks better than not working at all. But I mean, that does happen a lot because, a lot of companies want the candidate to have that professional experience, but that's why contract work is great because you gain that experience. But yeah, I would put anything on your resume to just kind of get your foot in the door.
Yeah. And if you can get in touch with nonprofits to just kind of
Yeah.
keep adding to
Do
your
anything you
portfolio
can.
or side projects.
Since you mentioned like pharma and financial as being big in in this area, should we be focusing students toward those in terms of our assignments and like their portfolio and all?
I think it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Yeah, but I mean, not everyone has to go into pharma or financial. But yeah, pharma is definitely huge around here.
Well, I always tell the students that everybody should have something pharmaceutical in their portfolio.
Yeah.
Because we're the pharmaceutical hub of the United States.
Yeah.
So everybody has a piece of the action.
Yeah.
So it's a very wise decision.
Definitely.
Questions?
Others? Is there something specific that you don't want to see on a resume? Read anything via cover letter or anything like that? Like something that just is a big red flag for you and you pass? Or
Honestly, this kind of just came to mind when you said that.
Sandwich.
Oh, yeah, like a mixture of skill set. Like I said, have a focus. Like, don't be all over the place. I would say, I don't know how to word this, but avoid, like, if you only have samples of, like, something, like, with politics or something that could be, like, controversial, we're not going to send that to, like, certain clients. Like, just have, like, what's the word? Like,
Are you trying to be like more neutral?
yeah. I mean, if you have that type of background, it's fine, but then it's not going to be,
Maybe
like, your
keep that
options
for your
aren't going to be as
personal
broad.
portfolio.
So we look for that, because then we don't really have, like, clients that are, like, politicians or anything. We can't really send you anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Highly visual resume or just a standard ATS type? Are you into
We
graphic
see
resumes
both.
and stuff?
We see both. As long as it looks clean and it's easy to read, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Bullets or paragraphs?
Bullets. Yeah, and not a lot.
Yeah, one
Summary,
pagers.
Objective?
Not always, no. No.
Cover letter should handle that, right?
Not really. Not really.
You don't really
Or
see a
cover
lot
letter.
of cover letters.
You don't see
Really?
it? That's fine.
Are they
They're
fading
not
out?
bad to have, but honestly, like, I don't really
don't
read
look at
them.
them.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like, okay, what are you doing right now? Like, cut to the chase. But, like, I also look at a million resumes a day, so
Million a day.
maybe 100.
Maybe you're exaggerating. Okay, so we've been talking resume. Do you guys get CVs, curricula vitae? No?
No.
Don't know what those are? Okay,
Honestly, no.
because these guys will have those too.
Okay, what is that?
That's a life story, basically.
Oh, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when they asked for my resume here, and I didn't have one,
Really?
but I had a curricula vitae.
Like, you type it up?
Yeah, with information. So it's very,
Okay.
it's a sort of a European standard.
Okay.
So, well, maybe we'll wow you. Everybody will have one to give you.
Yeah. I guess that's like what we go over when we interview
Exactly,
candidates.
yeah.
So
It is.
yeah, so we kind of get to that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you said the best thing for a student to have is like a website, probably like WordPress or something, right? What do you want to see on that website?
Basically, anything that you have. So your graphic design work, I mean, whatever your focus is, probably a welcome page, and then, your skill set. If you want to put your resume on there, that's always helpful too. Like a little about, I see that as well.
I would say you could put your life story, what is it called?
CV on there.
Your CV, that would be somewhere to put that, like an about me section. I mean, that's kind of like your website. You can do anything you want with it. But yeah, a good page for like your resume is always helpful.
If you want to split it up, if you kind of have like a different broad skill set, if you want to do like graphic design on one page and illustration on another, kind of like organized.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you've done like, if you're just print, but you have like a brochure page or like flyer page, if you want to split up that way, that's always an option too.
Do you guys investigate people's social media, stuff like
Someone
that?
just asked me that the other day. I never have.
No, I don't.
But employers might,
They might.
Employers might.
because it's a long-term relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think on the permanent side it might be a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe make yourself private.
So how do these guys get in touch? Is it strictly digital? They get in touch with you, or they come to your office? How does that work?
Oh, I should have put my business card.
I have some of mine. It's
Yeah.
all FaceTime or Skype, so that's what we do for interviews. So you don't need to come into the office. It's usually a quick, like Monica said, 20, 25 minutes, just going over your resume, looking at your portfolio. I usually have someone like walk through a project with me and what they worked on and their thought process and how that worked.
And so you Skype.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
use Skypes and FaceTimes.
So it's important about what the background is,
Yeah.
meaning that you can't be sitting in your Ford pickup Skyping you. That would be a bad environment.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no cats.
No cats.
I mean, you if you can, but like,
Don't have them as a distraction.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're cute.
Sometimes you
like-
can't help it, they just like jump around. I
Yeah,
understand.
Yeah.
I can't go into one room without one.
For your freelance assignments, are they mostly in office or at home or a mix? Do you place people?
We see a mix, but I think more so in
I would
office.
say majority are full-time hours on site at the client's location, but really depends. We're okay with remote work, part-time work, but it's really depends on how flexible the client is and if they're okay with that. But I'd say majority is on site.
On site. Oh, and then the website. I haven't been to your website. Do our portfolios go on your website, or do you have a section of like artists or galleries?
We actually do have a TCG portfolio page that kind of after our meeting, our FaceTime or Skype will send you the web account invite, and you have the option to upload whatever work you want. Usually people just do like one or two things. And then you get chosen to be, put on the portfolio, and that's just a way for our clients to see, who we
just-
represent. And then sometimes we do a TCG
Tuesday.
highlight of, our favorite artists of the week or something like that.
So do you have calls for social media
Yeah.
experts?
Yeah.
A lot?
Every
I wouldn't
now
say a
and then, not sometimes it'll not be titled social media. I feel like sometimes that falls under like digital marketing or web content writing, but yeah, social media is definitely a skill set that we recruit for.
What are some
Yeah,
things,
that's a
like,
skill
when
set
you
I'm
get
looking for.
an assignment to work something, what are some things you should not talk about on the website?
On the website,
On the work
site,
site.
when you get an assignment, like, what are some things that are like taboo subjects? Like, don't mention these on the work site.
like in an interview or when they're
Working.
Let's say, yeah, when
Or
you're
in an
working.
interview.
Or you could,
well, when a candidate is interviewing with the client, we say don't talk about pay.
good.
Don't talk about, like, even if you're not interested, just act interested. We'll handle it after.
Politics.
Yeah,
politics.
politics.
Right,
Just kind of common sense.
It's
stuff.
common sense.
religion.
Religion,
Stuff like that.
yeah, controversial stuff. Just avoid that.
If
yeah.
you see like pictures of people's family, is it okay to talk about their family and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like
okay.
small talk?
Yeah,
Small
small
talk's
talk.
okay.
You definitely want to build rapport, but you also want to stay professional. I had a candidate who he had a phone screen with the client, and he called me after. He was like, "It went so great. We really hit it off. We were talking about this. I made her laugh, blah blah blah." And then the client came back to us and was like, he was talking about like nonsense the whole time. Like he didn't answer. Like, I don't know what he does. Like, he definitely.
Some people just go off. Definitely stay focused and answer the questions. Don't run off into a tangent.
Yeah. Like, have a personality, but remember why you're there.
Eye contact.
Yeah, eye contact.
But you don't really want to stare
posture.
people down.
Yeah, firm handshake. Yeah.
I think, and also sometimes people go in there with too much confidence, and clients come back to us with that, like, oh, they acted like they already have the job.
Yeah.
So, kind of going in there, professional. I don't know.
So do you interview the people who need workers?
Our clients?
Yeah.
No.
You
No.
interview.
Well, we're recruiters, and then we have account managers that are directly in touch with our clients, and they communicate with our clients. They'll go on site with our clients, have client visits, bring them breakfast.
Yeah, they like get to see kind of what their work environment's like, so that we can go back and tell you guys, hey,
Okay.
this is a really cool office. This is kind of how
Dog
it's laid out.
friendly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah. So
they'll always go on site, meet them in person, meet the team. Sometimes they'll walk our candidates in, when they do start or when they're interviewing. But they'll, meet who our candidates would be working for, and then tell us what the client needs, and then we find the people to work.
So you say that these guys should have a website. Do you have issues if it's a Wix website, or should they have to build the website? Or it just has to be a good website?
Yeah, I've seen Wix websites.
I've
that
seen
are good.
Wix. I think, yeah, I mean, as a recent grad, I'd say Wix and Behance are common,
Mhm.
but like eventually you should probably work on your own website.
I mean, we know how to beat Wix.
Yeah.
What gives it away is the URL. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
just buy the different URL
Yeah,
and
right.
you can't tell.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's fine.
Business cards? Do you like business cards from these guys?
Yeah, I guess we don't really have the chance to like get them because we.
At events, though, if you're going to networking events,
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. It's a good idea to have business cards.
So what's a good business card?
Match the resume.
What?
To match your resume.
Okay. Well, what's it look like? Does it have a duck on it?
No, no dogs.
I don't know. Everyone's different. Like this is
No
this
doubt.
is designers, and you're supposed to be creative. So if
Mhm.
you, make
Yeah.
it creative, but like be simple.
I met someone that had like an he was an industrial designer, and his was all cut out.
Yeah.
And it was like wood. It was so cool and stuff like stood out for me.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying to keep them very professional
Suppose
with their business cards.
you come in, we interview with you, you don't get an assignment, and how long do we wait until we try again? We get back in touch with you.
So we're always keeping, like everyone we interview, we're always keeping them in mind. We always say, this is a free service to you. This is really just for us to be an extra set of eyes helping with your job search. We always say, keep applying on your own. We'd love to be the end-all be-all for every candidate, but unfortunately it doesn't always work out that way, or it could be a bit of a waiting game. So I always say, like, if you're not hearing from me, it doesn't mean that we forgot about you or there's nothing we're working on. We cover the whole creative industry, so it could be that at the time, we just have like pharmaceutical copywriters or front-end developers. Maybe we're not working on design roles. Maybe our clients don't need that right now. And we never want candidates to just wait for us to find them something, because you can't know how long it's going to take. I've interviewed someone that the next day he got a job, and I've also interviewed people that I've never gotten a job. So definitely, do your due diligence, apply on your own, but we're still that extra set of eyes, and we're always keeping someone in mind. Even like my first candidate I've ever interviewed, I just talked to him the other day. So it's never like you try again, you kind of just stay in touch.
yeah. And then I always say, like, if you don't hear from me in a little bit, just send me an update on, what's going on with you. Are you still applying? Have you accepted a job? If you're adding
Yeah.
things to your portfolio, I always ask for like an update or editing your resume, just so I have like the most
So
recent.
on your website you have little round photographs of some of the people you sponsor. I think there's like nine portfolios on there now, something like that. So do you have a limit? Do you just put the best 9? Or
You
is
mean
it-
like the online portfolio for candidates?
Right, for
There's
candidates.
no limit.
Okay.
It's just kind of hard to get candidates to do it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know why.
I don't know why,
People just
because
don't want to put it.
They
stuff
do
up
it,
there.
or
Yeah, they would have to do it. We send.
so they access it through you somehow?
Right. Like I was
Yeah.
talking about, after an interview, I'll usually send an invite with instructions on how to upload whatever you choose to the.
Well, we would have to
portfolio.
send like through their file like a web account invite. So like you can't just go on and upload your stuff.
Oh, okay, I understand that, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know why some candidates just don't do it. It's a free way to market yourself.
I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, and clients look at our website, and it's another way to trigger a job order. Spark the conversation. They might say, "This person's work is really great. Who is this?"
Yeah.
So it's it's free.
So do you feel that on that site, because I want these guys to do this. I mean, I think it's very sensible. It's another marketing device that you have. So do you think it's better for them to show a picture of themselves or a picture of their work on that site?
Their work.
Because there is that button,
I honestly, I don't really like when people have pictures of themselves on their resume.
Try not to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I just don't
I
think
really
it's
hate that.
necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's your resume, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But like I never say that to candidates. Like, you should take this off. But
So it's some impressive piece of, you'd rather see a nice photograph of a brochure or something that I've done,
Right,
as
yeah.
opposed to this is who I am.
Yeah,
Because it's
Okay.
more like this is
Shouldn't
what I
matter.
can do.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
it shouldn't matter what you look like. It's your design aesthetic, your skill set.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you told me that because, we were talking earlier about SCAD and about the portfolio. So they have a sort of a similar thing where you actually see the artist and you click on the artist and then you see their artwork. So I was wondering, with yours, I saw that there was some artwork and it was a mix of back and forth. So,
I mean, yeah, I guess it's like the candidate's preference. But yeah, if I had to pick one or the other, definitely the artwork.
I can always hold a piece of artwork by my face.
Yeah, you can do that too. Unique.
Yeah.
So now we have goals that we can do. We can get you on this site and yet another marketing tool. I think that's a good idea. I really do. Yeah, it's excellent. So, any other questions? See if I have any room on the list.
Does the creative group only find clients in Philadelphia, or do you find clients in different areas?
So our office, the Philadelphia office, covers all of Pennsylvania, some of Delaware. I would say a lot of our clients are in Philly, but we have offices all over. So like there's a creative group, just for an example, in like Princeton, New Jersey. They have clients over there. So like every office covers different territories.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good to know. Because
I'd say they're all across the United States or just
Yeah, we're-
regional on the eastern coast.
Yeah, all over
Global.
global.
that's good to know. I have a friend who graduated from the Art Institute, and she's having a hard time finding jobs, and she lives in the Poconos.
Yeah, I have a lot of candidates.
Asking for her.
Yeah, like we have colleagues in the Princeton office. They'll say like, my candidate's relocating. Like,
Yeah.
can you take over? Like, we pass each other candidates all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the biggest advantage to going through you guys as opposed to going directly applying for jobs? And is there any reason somebody would want to do one or the other?
So if you're just applying to a job on your own, we encourage that, and you can totally do that. You might just get like lost in the shuffle, kind of. You don't know how many people are applying, especially through like Indeed. They get so many resumes through there. With us, we have the direct contact with the client, can get your information right in front of them.
And then if there's ever anything on the resume, like I know I'll talk to candidates that maybe they were sick for a while, that's why they haven't worked. Like our account managers can explain that for the candidate, like directly in touch, like, oh, like maybe there's this, but this is why. Like it's just a lot. It's a lot more communication to sell a candidate to a company.
Well, we don't put dates on our resumes.
You don't.
No.
I would put dates.
What's holes in your life? You have to explain what that is.
A lot of our clients do ask for the dates.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and months.
Months?
Yeah.
Oh, I would never do that.
Yeah.
Never ever. I mean, if I'm approaching you with a resume, I'm not trying to debate what you're saying, but if I'm approaching you with a resume that gives you facts about what I can do, and I have a portfolio that supports that, like, what do you care?
Right, I totally agree with that. That's just something our clients, they ask for.
I would care like how recent the last position.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that, for
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to take somebody that's been in
Yeah.
retirement for like 9 years and
Right.
then jump back in. I can
Right.
definitely see that.
And
yeah.
same thing with if someone's saying like, hey, I need someone that's done pharmaceutical graphics in the past. Maybe it's on their resume, like far back. They
Oh, I see
wanna-
what you mean, yeah.
So then it's like, okay, well they did that 12.
Like things
12 years
change.
ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. If
Yeah.
you aren't moving with it, you're moving behind. So you're dealing with agencies and studios, design firms. Do you ever get any requests? And I've talked to my students about this a little bit. Did you ever get any requests for the TV stations?
Not that I can think
Because
of.
it seems to be an unexplored market.
We have worked for like, or had to fill like producer positions, video editing, but not really like TV stations, I guess. I mean, we're open to it. It's just like they don't really.
They don't come through us.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. How about trade shows?
Not as often, but we have had. Yeah, we've worked that before.
Okay, because it's a big industry these days. So, yeah. I like that.
What's the most popular field one of us can get into?
like industry.
Yeah.
Like I said, pharma is huge, but it's hard to get into if you don't have that experience. I would say more of like a, what's the word? Like maybe education. Pretty much, if you have experience in anything, it's easier to get into that same industry because you have that experience. But I guess in general, it really depends if the client's like lenient or if it just doesn't matter. I guess it depends on the project and what you have to do. So everything's kind of situational. I wish I had a better answer.
What would you say is the favorite part of your particular job?
Getting people jobs.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's awesome when it works out.
yeah, and when they like it.
Yes. It's good. Rewarding.
Okay, now I'm teaching these guys how to be capitalists. That's what I want them to be. They're graduating from school. They come to you. They have a decent portfolio. They have a clean background, and they ask you to help them find a job. So, what are we coming in at? What do you think? How much what do you think they'll get paid?
At a minimum, I would say like $18 an hour for, depending on your experience. But like the $20 to like $25 an hour range. $20 an hour like equates to about $40K salary. That's what.
$40,000. You can get them a full-time job for $40,000. That's pretty good.
But like
Shocking.
you also have to think it would be equivalent to 40K, but it might not be for a whole year.
Right. If
I
you're on
see.
a contract
So,
with
like,
us for
Oh, I see, I
$20
see.
an
Yeah,
hour.
yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about a full-time position.
Oh,
I'd still say
40-ish.
yeah, target 40.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I would have thought 30.
But like
So that's good. You got $10,000 raise talking to these guys.
so like if you get an offer, don't be like, no, I heard 40. Like
Yeah.
don't hold me to that.
No, you wouldn't do that. No, you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. Huh. Well, I like that. I may have to give no. I'm fine. I'm fine where I am. But I like to coach these guys. So they can actually, when they have the interview with you, they can tell you that they're looking for something at a price range.
Right. So we ask, what's your minimum? Do you want us to reach out to you if it's
Like what did
below
you
a
make
certain?
before?
Yeah.
They can say something like, I'm looking for a full-time job. I'd really like to start out working with these people, but make it a full-time job, and I eventually want to get a paycheck that's going to give me $40,000 before taxes.
You can say that, but I feel like the worst, like my pet peeve is, no offense, recent grads that think they're worth like so much money. Like you have to break into the industry. You can't keep denying things or turn things down because it's not what you think you deserve.
Yeah.
Like you need to start somewhere, and if it's, especially with the contract side, like if it's not, I guess your expected pay, like just do it. Just take the opportunity. It's not forever, and then you have that experience now. In the next position, you'll have more money.
Yeah.
So like I hate picky candidates. Like you need to work.
Yeah,
Just do it.
and you get more on your portfolio, another experience, your resume, and if something does come up, if you do end up getting a better opportunity or a full-time job comes in, that's totally fine. You can accept that and just be asking
and
for the
some
2 weeks
money
notice.
is better than no money. So.
Yeah.
Right?
What?
Some money is better than no money.
Something.
What kind of illustration work do your clients usually ask for, if at all?
It's honestly,
I feel like I have not
I
seen
have
an
seen it.
illustration.
I wasn't running point on it, so I don't remember the details. It was a few months ago. It's not like the most needed skill. We do cover it. Yeah, it's not too often. Yeah.
So say we had an interest in something that was outside of what you guys would like, an interest in a different industry or something that would take us away from here, but we're willing to travel. Would you be able to tell us kind of where to go, what to look for, like what areas to go to, or?
You mean like a career change, or like?
I mean, like, say you didn't want to work in pharma and you wanted a specific industry that was elsewhere outside of Philadelphia. Would you be able to point us in the direction of what state you might want to move to or where you may want to relocate?
Well, I mean, I guess just to clarify, we don't just do pharma, it's just
Right,
huge.
right.
So I mean, we would probably say, I could probably, think of a client in that specific industry that you'd be asking for, or, ask my account manager, like, who have we worked with that's in this industry, can we get them in there? But, if that was the case, I think that would just be like, we would just need more insight on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't know off the top of my head. I would have to say, like, it's something I would look into, but, yeah.
Yeah, or if you were researching it on your own and said, hey, like, this is kind of what I want to get into, maybe it's located here, we can put you with a contact that
Like, in
would
that
be
area. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're talking pharmaceutical, are you? I know the answer is probably both, but are you finding that it's pharmaceutical internal, like for SmithKline, or is it for an agency that does pharmaceutical?
Both.
Yes, ma'am.
I think more agency that has pharma clients, but both. Yeah.
And that would be the same for like Johnson & Johnson, Dermick, and all those guys.
Yeah. An agency experience in general is great too, even if you don't have pharma clients. Because since we work with a lot of agencies, they want someone that has experience in that environment and like the fast-paced, kind of more chaotic type of feel.
to come from that background.
Yeah,
You deal with Comcast?
we do.
You get a lot of calls from Comcast? Because I think that's a challenge for these guys to not work there eventually. Because Comcast is such a monster.
Yeah, they're huge.
It's like a vacuum.
Yeah.
An orange vacuum,
Yeah.
Like stay away from Comcast for a while.
Yeah, I mean, we work with them. All divisions work with them, so it's not necessarily like creative.
But they're a player for sure.
Yeah.
What about Airmark?
No, we actually don't.
Right.
First, I think we used to.
I was going to say, I've never seen it.
There's different like contracts and stuff for certain clients, so sometimes it's like tricky.
So when I sign a contract with you, is it a deep contract? Like, do I need my lawyer to look at it?
No.
Or is it a single
Some
page?
people
No,
do
seriously.
that though.
Yeah, no, seriously. Do I need, is it a single page? Is it 4 pages?
It's definitely longer than it needs to be and worded.
It
more
looks
complicated than
really
it has to be.
confusing, but it's really not.
It's basically agreeing if we place you, you understand you're an employee of the creative group working
You're
for the
representing
client.
us.
Yeah, it's really simple. I don't know why it's worded so different.
Is it always the same contract?
Yeah.
It's different for permanent placement.
Well, yeah, but on the contract side, if we place you, it's the same paperwork to get fully registered
So there's 2 different contracts.
for contract work and permanent work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Can you give me a copy of this?
Um,
Or you're not allowed?
I don't know. Personally, my administrator sends them out.
Yeah.
Do you want to register with them?
No. The reason is I would like to have a copy of the contract so that with my class we can explore the issues of the contract.
I can
I mean,
ask.
it's sensible.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I'm supposed to teach a class. It's like you're saying you have a
Yeah.
contract. It's like, what's it look like?
Yeah.
Well, it's long. Well, it's longer than it was. And it's like, okay, like,
I mean, I
then
can
throw them
ask.
to the wolves. Okay, here's
Yeah.
yeah.
I could definitely
So,
ask.
Yeah.
Okay, please ask.
Okay.
And of course, I'll have my legal look at it.
Okay,
So
sure.
and that is the point, because I can actually show them a contract, and then I can say, this is what you guys present. I have no problem with that at all. I won't damn you about what you're doing. So you give me the contract, I'll have my legal look at it, and they can say, well, here's a clause, watch out for that, or know what you're getting into when that's there. So I can bring that to the station here and say, here's the contract, here's what my legal said about a possible pitfall that you need to be aware of. That's all. Yeah, so. It's a better selling point for you.
Yeah.
When you say you can't get it, it's like, really, what are you trying to hide?
I'm still sending them out.
See,
Yeah.
that's how I think.
Our,
you want to show me on
Our admin sends them out, so.
Yeah,
It's
so
kind
I
of
just
all
want
done through them.
access to send it out, but I could ask her to send that.
Yeah. So and you can do the dark marker out the parts that, that you don't want somebody to see.
Yeah, edit it. No, I'm just kidding.
And we own you now.
But, you know, I think that would be a good thing. I think that would be very nice. And I think you'll get more response from this. And it's not a witch hunt. It really is not. It's just that sometimes you say, well, it's a contract, it's a couple pages. It's like, ooh, that sounds scary. You know, when you look at it, it's not scary at all. You know, that's the tempo that I would like to set in here. The knowledge kills the fear factor. You know, I always think so. It's a nice way to do that. And if there are things that need to be crossed out, it's fine with me. Cross them out. I have no problem with that at all. We'll just try to figure out what they are. And we'll scan it. See if we can get the answers out. So it should be a good thing. So.
Do your clients have the people that you, us will say, have contracts for us to sign if we go to work for them? If we have their own? Is there things that we have to look out for in contracts that you suggest? Or all your clients are like clear?
Most clients, you would just sign our paperwork. It depends, like, if it's like a bank or like we call it like strategic account. It really depends how big the company is and like their guidelines, I guess. Like some clients will have their own paperwork that's similar to ours, and you'd have to sign ours and theirs.
Okay.
But that's like,
It depends.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I know you said that, so anything is better than nothing, like a PDF or anything, but ideally, should we have a portfolio, do the portfolio first before we even bother trying to sign with you?
I think, yeah, just because it's easier to access.
Yeah.
And like,
I would imagine that.
if you're applying to something and you have the link on your resume, then, you know, it's easier.
Right.
And some things don't open on certain computers, or it's easier.
I agree.
What kind of size of portfolio are you looking for? Like the amount of stuff that's in it? What's too much? What's too little?
I've never been like, oh my gosh, this is too much.
Yeah, I think-
As long as it's organized,
Okay.
like whatever
The limit does not
experience you
exist.
have, put it on there. If it's horrible, don't put it on there.
Yeah,
It's a lot of homework.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's always a number that we jump around with. We collectively, all artists, jump around with.
Trying to figure
Yeah.
out how much.
How many pieces, you know? I think the school at one time, I think the senior portfolio classes, they talk about 11 to 12. That was actually on my syllabus that I got for starting the portfolio class. I was like, this is crazy, maybe 6
Yeah.
to 10, that type of thing. But as long as you can keep the interest, I think, and as long as it looks good,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
focused, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, as long as it looks good.
Yeah. And you can't, I think that and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think you can't have 10 great portfolio pieces that are all stationary designs.
Right.
Like, that doesn't work, you know. So you have a variety, and as long as you can keep showing good work that has a variety to it, then I think you're safe.
Yeah,
Like, that's like another surprise. Oh, this is nice. Oh, this
Right.
is nice. Oh, this is nice. That type of thing.
yeah.
Have you had clients, for animation that request more motion graphic stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how often do you get those?
We just got some recently, actually.
I feel like with motion graphics and video edits, for the most part, they're more like urgent, quick projects. Like a client will be like, oh, we need someone for a week, or we need someone to do this video. They're usually quick projects. It's not as often as design projects, but I mean, we do see them.
Have you had clients for more 3D than 2D?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the vacuum? What's everybody looking for that nobody has?
That nobody has.
I mean, the clients come to you. Well, here's what we're looking for, and you go, I don't have that, but it does have. What is that? Is there something out there?
Pharma and agency experience.
What is it?
Pharmaceutical and agency experience. For like UX design, Sketch and InVision are huge. Adobe XD has been requested recently. don't know if you guys, I don't know if this is Design Viva. Has anyone heard of Viva?
I don't think it's designed.
No, that's requested. Sometimes,
So is that for UX, that's
yeah.
the next
Sometimes clients will want someone just be able to start tomorrow. Like availability is hard. You know, it has to align with the candidate's schedule. It has to be commutable. Yeah, it's like, yeah, little factors that have to add up.
So I'd like us all to take a break for like 15 minutes or so. It's almost 10:30. So we take about a 15-minute break, and if you can talk amongst yourselves, and if you have any other questions, when we come back, we'll ask those questions, and then we'll be done for the day. And you can ask questions of our student body also.
Thanks.
So is this okay with you, the way this is going?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
I
Lots of-
forgot my business
I'm the
card.
only troublemaker in the crowd.
Oh, wait, I have my business card.
You have a lot. I don't think I have enough.
So would you like a cup of coffee or something?
I'm actually okay, thank you.
Any other cards?
I don't know if I have enough. I have 4.
You can give the cards out when they get back, we'll give the cards out.
Yeah, you know the one I got.
Thank you.
So I made.
I thought you were going to go on. I need to get my business cards.
I guess I leave this in here. Good idea.
I know it wasn't what you thought it would be.
Honestly, I wasn't really sure what to expect, but I like this. Yeah, it's casual.
I didn't want to put anybody on the spot.
Yeah.
Stand up lecture. It's like,
No, that's good.
I feel like it's good because they might feel more comfortable
it's an
asking
interaction type thing.
questions.
So you're getting questions, and that's
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good group.
Well,
And they put up with it.
I have 4.
We're the lucky four.
See how that's gonna be another.
I have
So yeah, we were having trouble finding
How to make it pop up.
outside the school. The professionals I work with, we were having trouble finding somebody to do a social media expert.
Oh. Did you find someone?
Everybody talks like, we think we found somebody. And then the pricing is a big issue also. It's like, because of the contacts. And, you know, you're contacting 10,000 people, how much you charge per person.
Yeah.
0.03%.
Gosh.
It gets complicated.
Yeah.
So I play this game. I do the medical illustrations for an anesthesiologist at Cooper Hospital, which is fun. And I get to do it all traditional because you really can't do pharmaceutical illustrations on a computer. It also looks like a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
It really does. So I do the traditional stuff.
Yeah, pharma stuff is more print traditional.
But my wife is a real big gun. Let's put it that way. She has a virtual agency.
Wow.
Oh wow.
And it's she has people in Buffalo, New York, one in Florida. There's 2 in Jersey.
What is it called?
So we can stop.
Now she has Pepsi, Frito-Lay,
Oh, wow.
Aramark,
Awesome.
and Tena, which is an adult diaper system.
Wait, what is it called? I've heard of that.
Tena.
I feel like I interviewed someone.
There's 2 brands. It's a brand that has two sections. One is Tena for population, and there's Tena for the medical side.
I feel like someone, I remember, I don't know if you worked here yet, someone was talking about they interviewed someone that worked for, I don't know if it was like design or not.
They're a
It's so
tough
funny.
client because they're Swedish.
Okay.
And we had, as an illustrator, I had to illustrate a very interesting diaper. It was for people who are over 300 pounds.
Where do you
They gave it to me, and it came in a package, and they said, we need a line illustration of this thing. It has to be done. It has to be extremely accurate. And I said, how accurate is accurate? And they said, as much as as accurate as you can make it. And I said, like, down to like 32nd of an inch, and they said, absolutely. I was like, oh, okay, fine. And I opened it up, and I swear it was bigger than 3 of these tables.
Oh my God. I want to see this illustration.
And
That's crazy.
they did a focus group. You're familiar with those where they have closed rooms and
Yeah, they bring people
send in
in.
special messages. Yeah, they did a focus group with nurses, and when they presented the diaper, they stood up and applauded. If you think about it, if you've got a person that's 350 pounds, they can't move. So what the nurses have been doing is they've been piecing together other diapers.
Oh my gosh.
But then that causes bed sores because of leakage. But here,
I like
has
can't
this.
even hear that.
Well, I mean,
It's like that show.
It was bigger than
TLC.
3 of these tables.
Yeah, definitely. If you took this table and put 2 more in front of it, that's how big it was.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I had to measure it down to like as close as I could get to the 32nd of an inch. And it was very interesting. And I finally figured out what was going on. I said to him, I said, so somebody makes these, right? They went, yes. I said, they make them on a machine, right? And they said, yeah. And I said, that means that there's a CAD, that's in a CAD image.
Yeah.
And they went, yes. And I said, can I have a copy of that? Because I figured, take the CAD image and run it through Illustrator. And they said the weirdest thing. I've never heard this from a client. I said, can I have the CAD image? And they said, don't ever ask that question again.
Oh my God.
Woo! I didn't say anything, but man, I stepped on a nerve.
Something.
The only thing I could figure was, and I talked to my colleagues in the field, and they were like, I have no idea what that was all about. And one guy said there may have been some kind of a patent issue on the image that was used in the machine to cut the piece out, and that they couldn't obtain the patent, the CAD image because of that patent license.
How would you know that?
Well, I mean, I'm innocent. I asked the question, and their response was like,
My gosh.
whoa, yeah, like, I was like, called their mom a name.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I didn't say I was sorry.
Really across the line.
My gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah, but it was, it said, yeah, adult diapers and that.
Interesting.
They're just really enormously enormous. So, would you like to take a little stroll? You can let your stuff here. It's nice and safe. I'll let my phone go. The temperament of Hushin is almost unnerving in the fact that I can let my phone in.
That's nice.
I can let my code here. You can let your stuff here. They let their stuff here. And when these guys want a laptop, they walk across the hall to David and they say, can I have a laptop? And he says, here's a laptop.
That's
so
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
So right now, we are in the